Hello, in this video we are going to talk about how to rationalize a denominator. And what rationalizing a denominator means is to not have a radical in the denominator. We only like to have our radicals in the numerator. So if you want to get rid of a radical in the denominator, you need to multiply by it. So in order to get rid of radical 5 in the denominator, I'm going to multiply by radical 5. The thing is, what you do to the denominator, you also have to do to the numerator. So I'm really multiplying both the top and bottom by radical 5. And notice that I'm not truly changing anything because radical 5 divided by radical 5 is really equal to 1. So essentially I'm multiplying by 1 and I'm not changing anything, but we're rewriting the expression so that we can get it in a new form. Now, when you're multiplying fractions, you multiply straight across. So 1 times radical 5 is radical 5 in the numerator. And in the denominator, radical 5 times radical 5 is just 5. Now, there are two reasons for it. One is that radical 5 times radical 5 is equal to the square root of 5 times 5, which is the square root of 25. And what's the square root of 25? 5. The other reason is if you were to write this with exponents, we have 5 to the 1/2 times 5 to the 1/2. And when we're multiplying, we add our exponents. So we keep the base, and 1/2 plus 1/2 is equal to 5 to the 1, which is just 5. So when you're multiplying a radical by itself, radical 5 times radical 5, the radical just disappears, and it's just 5. And now it puts it in a format for us where we have the radical in the numerator and just a plain old 5 in the denominator. So in the next one, we have a radical 5 in the denominator again. We want to get rid of that. I don't care about the 3 because the 3 doesn't have a radical. So I'm going to multiply by the radical 5 to get rid of it. But what I do to the bottom, I must also do to the top. And now I'm going to multiply straight across. 2 times radical 5 is 2 radical 5. On the bottom, I have the 3. And then radical 5 times radical 5 would give me 5. I'm going to clean this up a bit. I have 2 radical 5 in the numerator. And in the denominator, 3 times 5 would give me 15. So now this is rationalized because there is no radical in the denominator. For the very last one, the radical 5 is finally okay because it's in the numerator. But the radical 2 is in the denominator. We don't like that, so I'm going to get rid of it. When I do this, I'm going to have, oh, I can move over, great. I have the square root of 5 times the square root of 2. Because they're both the square root, you are allowed to put them underneath the same radical. And I get 5 times 2 underneath the radical. And on the bottom, the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is just 2. Up top, I end up with the square root of 10. On the bottom, I have 2. And it is fully rationalized. So now that you know how to rationalize, why don't you try one example on your own, and we could check it out in class tomorrow.